Hello friends and welcome to another video. In this one I'm gonna show you how I managed to make stop motion animation from start to finish. I did it in a very small space in my old bedroom. It was 9 square meters. At that time I was in the middle of moving out and changing places, so I was staying in my parents' flat for a bit and I took the project. It's very cozy and warm animation. I started from a sketch. The main character is gonna be 2 bears, and these ones are the biggest puppets that I've ever made. I mean, in case of the body chunkness, most of my puppets are very slim and human-like. So at first I'm working on armature, and it's supposed to be very solid because the body is very big, so I want to grab the puppet and feel that I can pose it properly. So for that I used some wooden blocks and then attached some aluminium wire. To keep the puppet in place, I attach square brass tubes so I can attach it to the rig and animate it later. I drilled some holes and I used beads for the eyes that I'm gonna paint later. Now I'm sculpting a basic shape of the face, so for that I'm using Super Sculpey. In a place that I want the bear to bend, I attached some foam. This one is actually an upholstery foam, but you can use any foam you have. Like a sponge even. Sponge could work as well. And here, this is what we got so far. I'm making a basic shape because then I want to add fur. And also, just in case, I attach some screws on his feet so I can screw the puppet to the table. Here I'm not very good at sewing, so I'm kind of making a vest from fur and then sew it. Now it's time to glue the fur to his face, and that was the most concerning part because you never know how it's gonna end up, and I was so stressed about it. But piece by piece I glue tiny bits of fur to his face. Wish for the best. And this glue is actually very stinky, so I had to wear a respirator. And now it's time for scenography. I wanted it to be very simple, and the whole animation will be taking place in the forest. The trees were very stylized. I went for geometrical shapes, bright colors. and I slowly start to put all of the things together. And you can actually see now how little space I had. I didn't have green fur or grass, usually I use fur, and I couldn't even find it online. So I decided to put plaster with some dirt and sand and then paint it green, and it actually looked pretty well. I'm gluing every piece to the ground. In animation, it's so important that each part of the scenography is not moving. So I'm using hot glue gun to put everything in place. The rig will help me to move the puppet so it's stable, it can jump or fly. I can put the puppet on air and the rig will hold it. There were some moments that I wanted to include camera movement, and for this I animate the camera on 24 frames per second, and the puppet is animated on twos, which means every 2 frames are animate the puppet. And this is the final result. In this animation I had 2 scenographies, so one in the forest and another one in heaven. So now we are making cloudy scenography with doors to heaven. I used cotton balls and felted it to XPS foam. In a later process, I want to continue on putting scenography together in front of the camera so I know how the final version is gonna look like. Again, a continuation of the camera movement, and I put those plants, leaves or something on tripods and I animated it frame by frame. In stop motion, something that I like is that every project is different and you have to experiment, and each project brings new challenges, and even if you have some limitation, you can actually work around it and find a solution for that. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was inspiring for you, that even in a small space you actually can make stop motion, and see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.